Hey everyone, and welcome to the Deep Dive. We're going to be looking at data today.
Ooh, data.
Yeah, but more specifically, we're diving into Canada's 2023 to 2026 data strategy.
Sounds exciting.
I know, right? We got a copy right here.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And let me tell you this thing. It's dense.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But don't worry. We're here to break it down for you
All right.
and pull out, the most important parts
Okay.
and see how it connects to your work as public servants.
I like it. Make it relevant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So before we get lost in the details,
Okay.
let's zoom out for a second.
Okay.
The strategy kicks off with a message from the Chief Statistician of Canada,
Mm-hmm.
the Deputy Clerk of the Privy Council,
Uh-huh.
and the Chief Information Officer of Canada.
The big three.
Yeah, the big bosses.
Yeah.
And they're pretty clear. Good data practices are super important.
Yeah.
They're like the foundation
Okay.
for a modern and effective government.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They highlight how the pandemic really emphasized
Oh, yeah.
how critical, reliable, and accessible data is.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, think about it during an emergency.
Right.
Quick access to accurate information can really make a difference.
Totally. And it's not just about reacting to those emergencies either.
Right.
It's about designing better policies and programs
Okay.
proactively,
Yeah.
the kind that actually meet Canadians' needs.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And they even talk about a future where data helps people navigate government services more smoothly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it empowers citizens to make informed choices
Oh.
based on open data.
I like that.
Yeah. It's a pretty exciting vision.
Yeah.
And to get there, this strategy has 4 key missions.
Okay, 4 missions.
Yeah, think of them as the strategic pillars
Okay.
for transforming how the government uses data.
All right, break it down for me.
Okay, mission 1 is data by design.
Data by design.
So basically what that means is thinking about your data needs right from the start of a project,
Okay.
not as an afterthought.
So not just tacked on at the end. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like planning a road trip.
Okay.
You wouldn't just hop in the car and start driving without a map, right?
Sure.
You need a plan.
You get lost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So data by design is like building that data roadmap into everything you do.
I see. Okay.
And the strategy has some really cool examples of how departments are already doing this.
Oh, really? Like what?
Take the Canada Border Services Agency.
CBSA.
Yeah, they've implemented this thing called a data frame.
A data frame.
Yeah, it's basically a checklist of questions that helps them figure out their data needs
Okay.
during the planning stages of any project.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, so it's like a handy tool to make sure the data is part of the conversation
Yeah.
from day one.
From the beginning.
Yeah, no more scrambling for data at the last minute.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah,
Be prepared.
exactly.
Yeah.
And the strategy also stresses the importance of getting enough resources
Okay.
for data initiatives,
Resources, like what kind of resources?
like people tools and funding.
Okay, the essentials.
Yeah, you can't build a data-driven government without the right support.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so mission 2 is data for decision-making.
Data for decision making.
And this one is all about ensuring the data you're using is high quality.
Okay.
It's standardized
Mm-hmm.
and easy to analyze. We're talking about making sure the data is accurate,
Yeah,
reliable,
Uh-huh.
and consistent across different parts of the government.
I see. So no more comparing apples to oranges.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The strategy actually highlights the Public Accounts of Canada as a great example.
Okay.
They've got a really strong data framework
Okay.
and standardized accounting practices,
Hmm.
which has helped them maintain a perfect audit record for over 2 decades.
Wow. Okay, so they're really on top of their data game.
Yeah, talk about data integrity.
Exactly.
So it's not just about collecting data.
Right.
It's about managing it in a way that builds trust and accountability.
That's important.
Yeah, and to get that clear picture, you need to connect the dots between different data sets.
Okay.
And the strategy talks about data hubs as a way to bring information together
Oh,
from multiple sources
all right.
and make it easier to analyze.
So like a one-stop shop for data insights.
Exactly.
Right.
And they point to a successful example from Fisheries and Oceans Canada.
Okay.
They created a data sharing initiative
Hmm.
that lets other federal organizations securely access their data catalog.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah, this kind of collaboration can lead to some amazing insights
Yeah.
and better informed decisions.
That makes a lot of sense.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's like breaking down those data silos and opening up these new avenues for collaboration.
I like it.
And speaking of making data accessible, the strategy also highlights the Canadian Food Inspection Agency's data asset inventory.
Oh.
It's like this searchable catalog
Okay.
that scores data sets based on their quality,
Okay.
and whether they're suitable for public release.
So it helps people find and understand the data.
Yeah, it's a great example of transparency and how departments can be more proactive in sharing data with Canadians.
Yeah, I like that it builds trust
Exactly.
and it lets people engage with the data.
Right.
Okay, cool.
All right, let's move on to mission 3.
Okay, me.
Enabling data-driven services.
Enabling data-driven services.
This is where things get exciting for citizens
Oh, why is that?
because it's about using data to create better, more efficient, and user-friendly services.
Okay, I see. So like better services for Canadians.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They talk about secure and open data flows between departments,
Okay.
which can be a challenge.
Yeah, I bet.
But imagine the possibilities.
Okay, like what?
Like imagine being able to access government services without having to repeat your information a million times.
Oh, yeah, that's the worst.
Right. Because different departments can actually talk to each other
Yeah, that would be awesome.
through their data systems.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that would be a game changer.
Yeah, no more feeling like you're stuck in bureaucratic quicksand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not just about making things easier for citizens.
Okay.
Data can also help us understand how well our services are actually performing.
So we can use data to track things like wait times,
Yeah.
customer satisfaction,
Uh-huh.
and to see where we need to improve.
Exactly, instead of relying on guesswork.
Right. Data-driven improvement.
Yeah.
I like it.
So it's about using data to create a feedback loop that allows services to constantly evolve and adapt
Cool.
to Canadians' needs.
Yeah.
The strategy even suggests that federal regulators could play a role in encouraging responsible data sharing
Okay.
among service delivery partners.
So setting some ground rules for data sharing.
Yeah, it's about setting clear expectations for how data should be used
Okay.
to improve service delivery across the board.
I see.
And they also highlight this really cool pilot project.
Oh, a pilot project.
Yeah, by Shared Services Canada,
Okay.
to explore new ways to store and collaborate on data,
Oh.
especially for scientific research.
Oh, wow. So like helping researchers access and analyze data.
Exactly. Imagine
Yeah.
the breakthroughs we could see if researchers could easily access data from different departments.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, it seems like this mission is really about breaking down barriers and fostering a culture of collaboration and innovation.
That's great.
Yeah,
But with collaboration comes responsibility.
right.
The strategy emphasizes the need for ethical data stewardship and transparency.
Makes sense. As the government uses more data, it's super crucial to ensure that data is handled responsibly,
Yeah.
ethically,
Mhm.
and the people understand how their information is being used.
Right. Transparency is key.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, before we move on to the fourth and final mission,
Okay.
let's pause for a second
Okay.
and acknowledge this crucial element that's woven throughout this whole strategy:
Okay, what's that?
Indigenous data sovereignty.
Indigenous data sovereignty.
The strategy repeatedly highlights the importance of supporting First Nations, Inuit, and Métis nations in developing their own data strategies
Okay.
and capacity.
So it's about recognizing that they have the right to control their own data.
Exactly, and how it's used.
Makes sense.
And it's about ensuring that data is used in a way that respects Indigenous knowledge systems
Yeah.
and priorities.
Okay.
The strategy points to the transformational approach to Indigenous Data Initiative
Okay.
and the work being done to develop those government-wide standards for data interoperability
Yeah.
to support Indigenous peoples in reclaiming their traditional names.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah, so they're taking concrete steps to ensure that Indigenous voices are heard
Yeah,
and that data is used in a way that supports reconciliation.
I like that a lot.
It's about building trust and partnerships
Mm.
based on mutual respect.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've covered 3 out of the 4 missions
Okay, 3 down.
of the data strategy.
1 to go.
Yeah, we talked about designing with data in mind,
Mm-hmm.
making data-driven decisions,
Yeah.
and using data to improve services.
Uh-huh.
But what about us?
Us, the
Ah.
people on the ground making it all happen.
Oh, right. Yeah, where do we fit into all of this?
Exactly. Where do we fit into this data revolution? That's where Mission 4 comes in.
Okay, bring it on.
Empowering the public service.
Empowering the public service.
It's about you.
me.
Yeah, we'll dive into that in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, I can't wait.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Before the break, we were talking about Canada's ambitious data strategy
Yeah.
and how it's changing the way we work. But now it's time to get personal.
Ooh, personal.
Mission 4 is all about empowering the public service.
Empowering us.
It's about you.
All right, let's hear it.
It recognizes that data is no longer just for like data people
Okay.
tucked away in some IT department.
Right, not just for the techies anymore.
Exactly. Data literacy is becoming essential for everyone.
Everyone.
Yeah, regardless of your role or your department.
Okay, so no matter what I do, I need to be data literate.
Exactly.
All right, I'm listening. So how does this strategy propose to turn us all into data wizards?
Yeah, how do we do it?
Well, first, they acknowledge the need to attract and keep those talented data professionals
Okay.
within the public service.
Yeah, we need those data rock stars.
Exactly.
Yep.
So it's about creating those clear career paths
Yeah.
for people who specialize in data
Mm-hmm.
and showcasing the amazing opportunities that exist
Right. Yeah.
to use data to make a difference in the lives of Canadians.
Show them that they can have an impact.
Exactly.
Okay.
But what about those of us who aren't necessarily looking to become full-fledged data scientists?
Right. Like, what about the rest of us?
That's where upskilling and reskilling come in.
Okay.
The strategy really emphasizes the need to provide data skills training for all public servants.
For everyone.
Yeah, think of it as adding this powerful tool to your professional toolbox.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Instead of fearing data, we can, embrace it
Okay.
as a way to do our jobs better and serve Canadians more effectively.
Use it to our advantage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The strategy calls for departments to assess their data skill needs
Okay.
and create training programs that address those gaps.
So figure out what skills we're missing.
Yeah.
And then provide training to fill those gaps.
Exactly. They even suggest formalizing these upskilling and reskilling programs
Okay.
covering a wide range of data skills.
So like from the basics
Uh-huh.
to more advanced stuff.
Yeah, from basic data literacy to more advanced analytics.
Okay. So there's something for everyone.
Exactly, no matter where you are in your data journey.
I like it.
And they highlight the Canada School of Public Service
Okay.
and Statistics Canada as key players in this effort.
So we've got the experts on our side.
Exactly. Imagine having access to top-notch training
Yeah, that would be awesome.
from the experts themselves.
The best of the best.
But training's only part of the equation.
Right.
We also need the right tools to actually work effectively with data.
The right tools for the job.
Exactly. And the strategy recognizes that access to tools can be a challenge
Yeah, I can see that.
for a lot of public servants.
Yeah.
So they're calling for a more streamlined approach to procurement,
Okay.
avoiding duplication of effort,
Okay.
and making sure everyone has access to the basic software they need.
The essentials.
Exactly. So no more jumping through hoops just to get the tools you need to do your job.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah,
Much more efficient.
exactly. And they even highlight a great example from Employment and Social Development Canada.
Okay. ESDC.
They created this central repository of software assessment documents.
What does that mean?
So basically, departments can share information
Okay.
and avoid wasting time and resources on redundant assessments.
So we don't have to reinvent the wheel every time.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
like this collaborative library for software assessments.
I like that idea.
Yeah, work smarter, not harder.
Absolutely.
They also encourage departments to embrace open source approaches
Okay.
and share information about the data toolkits that they've developed.
So sharing best practices and resources.
Yes. Exactly. Imagine a world where the best data tools are easily accessible to anyone who needs them.
That would be a game changer.
It's about breaking down silos and sharing knowledge to benefit the entire public service.
It's a team effort.
Now, beyond empowering individual public servants,
Okay.
the strategy new also lays out this detailed implementation plan
Oh, okay.
for the government as a whole.
For the whole government.
Yeah, so how is this strategy actually going to be put into practice?
Yeah, how do we make it happen?
Well, the strategy is actually backed by this really robust implementation plan
Okay.
with clear deliverables, timelines, and milestones.
So they've thought this through.
Yeah. They're even going to track progress
Oh, wow.
using key performance indicators
Okay.
and release these annual progress reports.
So we can see how we're doing.
Exactly. So it's not just a bunch of lofty ideas.
Right.
They're actually serious about making this happen
Okay.
and holding themselves accountable.
I like that accountability is important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of accountability, the document outlines some specific expectations
Oh, expectations for who?
for federal
Oh,
organizations.
federal organizations. So, like, what do they need to do?
So what's the homework for all the departments and agencies out there?
What do they need to do to make this happen?
Well, first and foremost, they're encouraged to review the strategy
Okay.
and figure out how to align their own organizational strategies
Okay.
with its goals.
So make sure everyone's on the same page.
Exactly. No more data silos.
Right. Working together towards a common goal.
And while the strategy acknowledges that, different organizations are at different stages
Okay.
in their data journey,
Mm-hmm.
there's some, common priorities
Okay.
that everyone should focus on.
Like what? Give me the top priorities.
Well, like we discussed earlier, embedding data activities and needs into every project
Oh,
from the very beginning.
right, data by design.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's about making data this core consideration in all planning and decision-making.
got it. Data from the start.
Another key action is disaggregating data.
Disaggregated data. Wait, can you remind me what that is again?
Yeah, so imagine you're looking at a map of Canada.
Okay.
At first, you just see like provinces and territories.
Yeah, the big picture.
But if you zoom in,
Okay.
you can see individual cities, towns,
Uh-huh.
even neighborhoods.
Okay.
Disaggregated data is like zooming in on your data to see the finer details.
Oh, okay. So it's like getting more granular.
Exactly.
Okay.
Instead of just looking at the overall trends,
Yeah.
you can analyze trends within specific groups.
Okay. So like different age groups
Yeah.
or geographic regions.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's about going beyond the big picture and understanding the nuances within the data.
That makes sense.
And this can be incredibly useful for tailoring services to specific needs.
Yeah, you can really target your efforts.
And the strategy stresses that this disaggregation should always be done while respecting privacy
Of course.
and data security.
Responsible data use.
Exactly.
Okay.
What other homework do departments have?
Yeah. What else is on the to-do list?
Well, they need to identify and address any barriers to data sharing
Okay.
within their organization.
Break down those silos.
Exactly. Breaking down those data silos is essential for creating a more collaborative and data-driven culture.
So more teamwork, less data hoarding.
Exactly. And remember how we talked about Indigenous data sovereignty?
Yeah.
Departments also need to improve the management and governance of data related to Indigenous peoples,
Okay.
ensuring they have control over their own data
Right.
and that it's used in a way that respects their rights and interests.
It's about walking the talk when it comes to reconciliation.
Exactly. And of course, ensuring everyone has access to the right data tools and training is crucial.
Yeah, invest in the people and the technology.
Exactly. They also point out that departments should be prepared to align with government-wide approaches to data management
Okay.
and common data standards.
So consistency across the board.
Exactly. It's about creating this unified and efficient approach to data across the entire government.
Makes sense.
Now, beyond these specific expectations, the document also highlights a bunch of other initiatives
Okay.
that are either already underway or in the works.
Oh, really? Like what?
They talk about a lot of exciting projects related to digital government
Okay.
and service delivery,
Like what kind of projects?
like Canada's Digital Ambition 2022
Okay.
and the Government of Canada Digital Standards.
So they're building this whole digital ecosystem.
Yeah, with data as the foundation.
I see.
They also mention initiatives related to transparency and accountability,
Okay.
like the Access to Information Review
Mhm.
and the National Action Plan on Open Government.
So they're serious about transparency.
Yeah, it's great to see that they're taking transparency and ethical data use seriously.
Yeah, that's important for building trust.
And of course, there's the ongoing work on modernizing Canada's Privacy Act
Right.
to make sure that data is used in a way that respects the privacy rights of Canadians.
Yeah, privacy is paramount.
Data can be this powerful tool for good, but it's important to use it responsibly.
Absolutely.
They also highlight the Disaggregated Data Action Plan,
Okay.
which aims to make sure that data is collected and analyzed in a way that reflects the diversity of the Canadian population.
So making sure everyone is represented in the data.
Exactly, and that government policies and programs are informed by a nuanced understanding
Yeah.
of the needs of different groups.
That's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they even highlight some really cool examples from other countries
Oh, other countries.
Yeah,
What are they doing?
that are doing innovative things with data.
Oh, I want to hear about this.
Like Australia, for instance, recently launched its own national data strategy,
Okay.
focusing on maximizing the value of data for the public good.
Sounds familiar.
Right? Great minds think alike.
Yeah.
And they highlight this really cool example of how real-time data sharing
Okay.
between different regions during natural disasters
Okay.
enabled a much more effective and targeted response.
Oh, wow. So data helping in a crisis.
Yeah, it really shows the power of collaboration and data sharing
Yeah.
in those times of crisis.
Absolutely.
New Zealand's government is putting a big emphasis on partnering with Maori communities
Okay.
on data initiatives,
Okay.
recognizing the importance of Indigenous data sovereignty.
Yeah, that's great to see.
It's inspiring to see that this focus on Indigenous data sovereignty is gaining traction globally.
Yeah, it's a global movement.
And then you have Ontario,
Okay.
which is rolling out this digital ID program.
Oh, Oh, yeah, I've heard about this.
Yeah, that will make it so much easier to access government services online.
Ah, that would be amazing.
Imagine being able to renew your driver's license
Yeah.
or get a business permit
Uh,
from the comfort of your couch.
no more waiting in line.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And on a broader scale, many countries, including the U.S., are investing heavily in data skills training
For public service.
for public service.
Okay.
So it's becoming clear that data literacy is this new essential skill
Yeah.
for the modern public service.
Absolutely.
And the U.S. has even created this curated data skills catalog.
A catalog.
Yeah, to help government agencies develop data training programs
Okay.
and define the competencies needed to manage data effectively.
So it's like a roadmap for building a data-savvy workforce.
Exactly.
I'll get
The takeaway from all these examples is that this is a global movement.
a global movement.
Yeah, governments around the world are recognizing the transformative power of data
Yeah.
and investing in the people and the infrastructure needed to make it happen.
This is the future.
It's an exciting time to be working in the public service.
It is.
But before we get too carried away with all this data talk,
Okay.
let's bring it back down to earth for a minute.
All right, reality check.
What does all this mean for our listeners,
Yeah.
the everyday public servants, working hard to serve Canadians?
The people on the ground.
Exactly. How can they take all this information
Yeah.
and actually apply it to their own work?
Make it
We'll explore that in part 3 of the Deep Dive. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've spent this episode exploring Canada's data strategy,
It's a big one.
and it is a lot to take in.
Definitely.
But before we wrap up,
Yeah.
let's connect the dots between all these ideas
Okay.
and like your day-to-day work as public servants.
Right, make it practical.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So how can you use data to make a difference
Yeah, what are the takeaways?
in the lives of Canadians?
Let's bring it home for our listeners.
Okay, so what are some concrete things people can apply to their own work
Mhm.
starting tomorrow?
Well, I think the first step is to get familiar with the data strategy itself.
Okay.
Don't be intimidated by like the size of the document.
Yeah, it's a big one.
It's actually well written and full of practical examples and insights.
Think of it as your data playbook,
I like that.
a guide for navigating this new data-driven landscape.
Exactly. And as you're reading through it, think about how you can apply the principles of data by design
Okay.
to your own projects and initiatives.
Data by design.
Yeah, start asking those data questions early on.
Okay, like what kind of questions?
Like, what information do you need to make informed decisions?
Okay.
What data sources are available?
Uh-huh.
How can you collect and analyze data in a way that's ethical and responsible?
It's about shifting our mindset from reacting to data
Yeah,
to
Right.
proactively planning for it.
exactly. And don't be afraid to reach out to colleagues who
Yeah.
might have more experience working with data.
Okay.
The strategy emphasizes collaboration and knowledge sharing, so tap into the resources that are available to you.
Like what kind of resources?
Well, like the Government of Canada data community.
Okay, the GCDC.
Yeah, exactly. It's about building a data community within the public service.
Yeah,
A network of support and expertise that we can all draw from.
I like that.
And most importantly, be curious.
Be curious.
Yeah, ask questions, explore new tools, challenge yourself to think differently about how data can be used to improve your work and better serve Canadians.
I love the beauty of this strategy is that it empowers you to be a part of this data transformation.
Yeah.
It gives you the tools and the knowledge to harness the power of data in your everyday work, no matter what your role is.
Data for everyone.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
here's a final thought-provoking question for you to consider.
All right, lay it on me.
How will you use data to make a difference?
That's a good one to ponder.
That's all for this episode of The Deep Dive.
Thanks for joining us.
We hope you found it insightful and, dare I say, even a little bit exciting.
Data can be exciting.
Until next time, keep learning, keep collaborating, and keep innovating.
The future of the public service is in your hands.